I got to do this properly. The reigning, defending, undisputed Intercounty Baseball League Most Valuable Player, Seth Strong, stepping into the batter's box for the first time in the IBL in 2025. Vargas steals. That one's popped high. Deep to center field. It's going back, and it is gone. The first at-bat of the season is a grand salami for the Panda, and the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers lead it 4-0.
That ball just kept on carrying. Vargas challenges Strong with that breaking ball over the heart of the plate and hung it just a little bit. And Strong put a charge into that one, straight away center field. What a welcome back to the IBL.
Well, it seems like everybody is kung fu fighting in the Intercounty Baseball League. It is the midst of this 2025 regular season. A whole lot to talk about. Welcome to the IBL Inside Pitch. He's Neil Srivastava. He's Braeden Farrington. My name is Mark Perry. Or maybe I should call you guys by your nicknames.
Oh, damn. I forgot all about this.
Well,
damn.
So, if you guys have tuned in the past, you guys know that, well, at least a couple of us have nicknames from Joe Randone, the manager of the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. We knew that myself and Braeden had a nickname that Neil didn't want to divulge to us, but turns out, so I had this conversation with Jill before the game, and turns out, oddly enough, Neil also has a nickname.
God, no.
Oh,
this could be bad.
Here we go. So let's do that intro one more time. Welcome to the IBL Inside Pitch. I'm the man with the thinking cap, Mark Perry. He's Carrot Top, Braeden Farrington. And he is the legend, Neil Srivastava.
Oh, God.
I told you it was flattering, Neil.
I know, but still, it's just a lot of hype to live up to. Come on. Gotta have that off day once in a while, can't we?
Oh, no. There's no off days in the IBL. Are you kidding me? Well, let's get right into the action. I just talked about the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, and you know what? We're going to be shifting off course from what we usually do week to week. We usually go from 9 to 1 through the power rankings and analyze each team individually. We're actually going to start with the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers this week because they made probably the biggest splash of the season in signing Seth Strong, the reigning, defending, undisputed Intercounty Baseball League Most Valuable Player. And for a team that is way up there in the standings, a team that is second in the IBL standings, third in the power rankings this week, that's a big ad. Plain and simple.
It's a huge ad. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I'm sitting there going, okay, when they were talking about it and everything else, I'm going, well, who's going home then? And it's just like, okay, well, we found out. And it's like, okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense. They had to make room for Seth, but it's like the same time, it's like, okay, now they're really going to have to lean on their pitching staff a little more here, and they're going to have to get some guys, up to speed and up to be able to handle 5-6 innings on a regular basis here, to going forward, anyways. Unless they have an injury or something in the next couple of weeks, and they can get somebody else in here. But yeah, that's pretty much where they're at. They put all their cards on the table, so to speak, and they're going to have to work with these now.
Yeah, I like it. Ballpark plays the sets. Strong suits.
Yep.
Without, being more funny than that. But
hilarious, by the way.
Thank you. For me personally, I think it for the player standpoint, I think it shows from the organization that they're willing to want to go win. And as a player, that's all you want to see. Hey, we're doing our job. Upper management, you go do your job to make us want to win. And I think this is huge. Now the players are believing in themselves again, or they've technically believed in themselves the whole way. But now this is just an added little bonus of a lightning bolt in the bottle. So I think it's a positive situation. He's definitely not a mid-ranked player.
No.
This is something.
This would be something. If this was another team in this league doing this, they'd be like, okay, yeah, they just totally rate it. They went in a different direction here. But this guy's just okay. We got to bring somebody back in here, and we have the opportunity to bring back Seth. Let's go and do it, and let's make our team that much better. And plus, it takes some of the pressure off the two guys that they're gonna lose in August, anyways. Which I believe it's Evan Morrison and Braxton Haggett. They're the two guys going back to school in August. So okay, until then, they got enough time to rack up some wins, get some lockdown, home field advantage right now. That's probably something they're looking at because that first round series, you'd rather play 2 games at home than have to go on the road for,
Yeah,
you're absolutely
your
right.
advantage.
Yeah, I mean, even like say you're one of the younger kids, right? And you don't really know who Seth Strong is. Guys in the league know who Seth Strong is. And that's going to make that lineup. Say you're as a pitcher, you're going to have to pitch to say 3-4. This is going to lengthen the lineup a lot. And now it's like, okay, how do I pitch around this guy? Oh wait, now I have to go to this guy, and now I have to pitch to Seth again.
Yeah.
Like what? Like that just adds stress innings to pitchers, and I feel bad for anybody who has to leave one down the middle because 260 down the line is not nice.
No, especially not in that ballpark. And to his credit, half the time it's not even 260. It's like 400 easily.
Yeah. It just makes it appear.
It's like that moonshot of hitting Kitchener. It's like, yeah, okay, he's back.
Oh yeah.
That was the first pitch he saw. The second pitch he saw, first swing he took. That thing was mashed.
Yeah, he definitely didn't miss a beat. That's for sure.
Well, Panda with a phenomenal performance in his return to the Intercounty Baseball League. 2 home runs, 7 RBI, and I was lucky enough to catch up with him right after that game on Thursday. Let's run that clip right now. All right, that's a way to come back into the Intercounty Baseball League. 7 RBI, a grand slam on your first swing of the bat. How'd you feel out there tonight?
Happy to be back and really felt great today. I got released a couple weeks ago and was hitting the ball great, just had unfortunate circumstances. So really didn't feel like I just picked up where I left off.
What have you been doing the last couple of weeks just to kind of stay warm ahead of coming back here?
Yeah, so just been training at my local gym that I work out at, and then just doing my baseball and my fielding training with my mom as my trainer. So she's hitting ground balls to me. She's feeding stuff off the tee and getting behind the screen and throwing to me. So
she was very active in the chat tonight. I'll tell you that right now.
I can only imagine.
That's awesome. Feels like you sent a message to the Intercounty Baseball League here tonight. Just obviously, MVP last year. You come into your first game of the season here and do what you did. Yeah, I think this is a game where you just kind of put everybody on notice, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I just came out here trying to do my job and do everything that I'm supposed to for this team. We got a really great club as from, the first half of the season. And, me joining the club right now I think it's going to be a really special thing for us this year. So,
what do you take from your experience in the Frontier League?
Just the amount of professionalism there and trying to bring that to Chatham and to these younger guys and, trying to lead things by example, not just from the Frontier League, but from also my past experiences with other clubs around the U.S. and everything.
Now you get released. Is there any kind of messaging from that team in terms of, hey, if you work on this, you work on that, you might find yourself in a more regular position next season kind of thing? I guess, what was the approach from them and what was their messaging to you?
Yeah, so just there was unfortunate circumstances with guys coming off the IL and former returning guys from, the last season and the previous seasons, and they all just happen to be playing the positions that I'm playing. So I don't hold anything against them. But I went there and they gave me all the chances that they gave, and really, I'm not disappointed with how I played when I was there. And so when I walked into the office, it was it really caught me off guard. But in the long run, I kind of expected it after the two guys coming off the IL that were playing first base, another guy coming off the IL at third base. But yeah, it was even though it was a short experience, it was a great experience for me to be
That's
there.
excellent. Coming back here into Chatham-Kent, is there a piece of your game that you're really trying to key in on a little bit more and trying to improve as the season goes along?
Oh yeah, I mean, this game is very humbling, and like you might think that you're the greatest hitter, fielder, pitcher on the planet, but in reality, there's nobody that's perfect. And so like I'm constantly working at my craft, whether it's hitting or whether it's playing first or third base, or really whether it's the mental side of the game. I'm always trying to be perfect, but I know that it will never be that way.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the night, and we'll see you back here in a couple weeks.
Thank you so much.
The Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, third place in the IBL Power Rankings this week. When we look at how they did this past week, that moonshot, a 17-6 win over the Kitchener Panthers, a franchise record 17 runs in one game. Coming off of their worst defeat in franchise history just a couple of days prior, 25-3 to the Brantford Red Sox, and then obviously on the 5th of July, a 9-4 defeat in Welland, a battle of the top two teams in the Intercounty Baseball League. Safe to say, a very eventful week, both good and bad for this team.
Yeah, no question. I got to quote Gil Rendon because Gil called me after the blowout, and he imparted some more wisdom. The engine wasn't working, everything else, because the Pistons totally didn't fire that game.
It happens.
And it was just
Sometimes you gotta get smacked.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of teams. Sometimes you give up 7 runs in the first inning and pretty much mail the rest of the game in.
Yeah.
Not dropping any names.
Absolutely. Apologies to Gil. I kept saying Gil Rendon. It's the French Canadian in me. It's Gil Rendon. I know.
Oh no! You also have to correct yourself on Spencer Morin too, because it's like you've been saying
Good.
Morin
It's the
Morin.
French Canadian.
I know it's the Français in you. I get it. But still,
yeah, people were wrecking me because of that, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying here. It happens. I know I have
tip
the
of the cap to
pronunciation
Spencer.
sheet in me.
Tip of the cap to Spencer. Congratulations, you got your first 2 home runs, both in Kitchener, and you're having a great season, young man. So yes, our tips and caps to you and everything else, and everybody else in the Barnstormers doing great things so far.
Yeah, if pronouncing your name wrong is the biggest worry, I think you're going to be all right.
Good.
Although I don't think he's really worried about what this guy is saying. Just some schmuck upstairs in Kitchener. Yeah. Big week for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. Let's see if they can carry it on. Again, 14-9 on the season. Again, we're going to go to another team that is not at the bottom of the power rankings this week because yet another big storyline this past weekend. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 12-13 on the season, a busy weekend, but very short-staffed. It felt like I was working retail again and having to do 4 different departments in a department store. That's how short-staffed this team was. And they're so short-staffed. Well, why not get a guy who is a legend in the Intercounty Baseball League, Damon TOPOLIE, coming back to the Maple Leafs to play 2 games this past weekend?
Yeah, and when I saw when the lineup got texted me, I'm just going, why the heck are they texting the lineup to me? And then of course Alan Ross, like 2 minutes later, did you get the lineup? I'm like, yeah. Did you look at it closely? And I'm like, no. And then like I looked at it and just like, oh my lord, like out of nowhere. And I think I sent it to you guys like right after that. It was just like, are you kidding me? Like this has got to be a typo or something. But then no, lo and behold, he's playing first base.
Crazy. Like the last time I saw him was 2002 or 2022 at championship.
He was in the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
Right. Part of that back-to-back championship run for you guys, and taking down Toronto both times.
Yeah, I thought that was the last we'd ever see.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Oh, so did I. It was just, but lo and behold,
Lost.
he's back. Albeit it was a limited time offer, but still, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's already been taken off the roster again. So we'll see.
Yeah, he has been. He's already been released according to the IBL website. And I'm very curious if we see him again at some point, just because of where the stats lie. I mean, so short of the RBIs hitting that mark of 500 on his career.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to drive him to come back just so he can hit that even mark.
Yeah. And if they had a stretch where they were playing some teams he traditionally hit well against, he might do it. But I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Maybe if the opportunity was to have presented itself again or something, but it's hard to say.
Wasn't it like maybe it's like five episodes ago where I kind of brought up the idea of like the e-bug?
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yep.
Here we are.
Yep.
On top of it.
Yep.
Guy comes in handy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Well, you look at their week again, a very busy week where they go 2-2. They lose in Welland 4-2 on Canada Day. They win 4-2 against Welland on Canada Day, and that's a big win. Second time they've beaten the Jackfish this season.
Yep.
And then a couple of games against Barrie and Kitchener where they lose, and that home and home against Kitchener is very, very interesting to note because again, you go to Saturday, they lose 11-3, and then they turn it back and they completely ruin a phenomenal performance from Owen McNeil. We'll get more on that on the
Yeah.
Kitchener side in just a few moments. But how about the Toronto Maple Leafs and their resolve to get that win to finish off the weekend and just overall just going 2 for 2 with a shortened bench, not something to shake a stick at.
No, exactly. And this team just seems to want to stick around as much as they can. And you got to tip your cap to Dustin Richardson. He's going out there and still throwing zeros. Like, I don't give this guy enough credit. I don't think the league gives this guy enough credit. I'm going to fix that this week and with some graphics and little video pieces and everything else. But this guy deserves some more flowers. I'm sorry, he does.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, again, 12-13 on the season, just getting started on a win streak. The Toronto Maple Leafs number 6 in the power rankings this week. Well, now we're going to go in order from 9 to 1 and skip over the two teams that we just mentioned, obviously. So we go to number 9, and speaking of them, the Kitchener Panthers, they drop from 7th to 9th this week, 9-15 on the season. And it's just the same old story with this team where it seems like they're getting a lot of great performances from their starters, but the bullpen's just not pulling their weight, plain and simple.
And the bullpen, I just don't know. If you're the starting pitcher, you got to try to find a way to stick in this ball game longer somehow. It's just like, no, coach, I got this. Give me a couple of Advil, something. Just let me go out here and throw something more another inning here. Even if I have to underhand it, it's nothing but eephus pitches, but something's got to give here. Like, to a man, they have to do a better job coming on that bullpen.
Yeah, if I'm a starter there, I'm just saying, you know what? I'm working my tail off here.
Yep.
My back will hurt for a couple weeks, but I got this. I'll carry this team to a victory because the rest of the guys, they're gonna watch this. I get it. They need to, step up and pull their own weight because you can't rely on 3 guys to carry this team. Like, it's just that's impossible. Like, it's just especially at a small ballpark. That ain't happening. So figure it out, hit your spots, and then maybe you can give your starters some breathing room here to not have to go the full game.
How many leads have they blown? Like, they've been up, like, I want to say it's been 5 or 5-1 often in this game, and then they've come back and somehow the lead has gone away from them. Like, I've lost count of how many times it is.
I mean, I remember that game against Chatham-Kent. They were up 5-1 at one point. That was before that walk-off win a couple weeks back. And then, they, albeit it's only a 3-2 lead that they had, Owen McNeil yesterday or Sunday, he was in line for the win. Kitchener ended up taking a 3-2 lead, and he had a great performance. 6 innings pitched, just 3 hits all throughout the game, albeit he did give up 5 walks and hit a couple of batters at the same time too. But the bullpen comes in, and Toronto just says, okay, new pitcher. We didn't like what Owen McNeil was given to us. We like what they're giving to us, and we're just going to hit the baseball.
Oh, exactly. Dennis DeBanning was his 3rd home run of the season. Seems to hit well in that ballpark. He hit 2 there last year and hit 1 there this year so far, and he got 3 on the season. So, yeah, definitely likes hitting in that ballpark.
Yeah, if I could speak on the Kitchener bullpen, stop throwing a fastball, please. Mix it up. People are sitting on a fastball when you're coming out of the bullpen. Nobody likes hitting off-speed stuff. They'll get under it, they'll pop it up, or if not better yet, they'll roll over and get you induce a ground ball. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Listen to those words. Please stop throwing a fastball. Ain't working.
Nope.
Well, I said it a couple of times on the broadcast on Sunday. You know, if there's some things for Shanif Harani to do in the next couple of weeks before the transaction deadline to try to shore up this roster ahead of a potential playoff run, if they get there at this rate, who knows? With, again, one team missing the playoffs, they're not in that position yet. But there it is.
How many more times do Brantford and Kitchener play head-to-head?
I think they only play about once or twice now. I'd have to look. Let me double check on this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how many that is, because those are huge games.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see Brantford hold back somebody and hold back another starter just in case that first one doesn't pan out here. I mean, especially in these situations, if it's a home-to-home, if it's a third night at the couch, and then not till Sunday against these guys, you might see the same 2 guys go out there and try to muscle these ones out here. Because I think Brantford really needs to take a couple of ones from these guys. They stole one from Hamilton on the weekend and everything else, and we'll talk about them in a couple seconds here anyways, but it's just, I don't know. It's something they're close. They're very close. They just got to get something to get that rock to the top. They got the rock to the top of the hill. They just got to find a way to push it down now.
So I can tell you, just by looking at the schedule here, they play one more time in Kitchener. That's on a Thursday, July 31st. So Kitchener I don't have Brantford's side of the schedule here, but at least in Kitchener's point of view, they do have a few days off after the 27th when they play Guelph at home again. So they got the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get ready for that game on the Thursday. So that's gonna be a big game.
Book it. IBL game of the week.
It's probably going to be. Just saying now. Gonna be a lot of interested parties watching that game.
Yep.
You can say that again, and that's after the transaction deadline too.
Yeah.
This could get fun.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to move on to the Hamilton Cardinals. They are 10-12 on the season. Big 15-2 victory over the London Majors on Sunday. Saturday night, though, I think you've said it best, Neil. It was a low point for this team.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I think the low point even started Friday night, as far as just the lack of preparedness out there from. Usually when I go down to get the lineup and everything else, there's usually on the wall, there's usually like batting practice groups and everything else. All those things were blank on the sheet. So I'm just like going, that's not right. And I'm watching them take batting practice. There's nobody hitting fungos. There's just like, it seemed very disorganized Friday night. Just very, very disorganized. Like nothing was clicking. We get into the 8th inning. We got Connor Corey warming up in the 8th inning. He doesn't go in because Owen goes out there and shoves another inning out there. And I thought for sure, okay, maybe he's going to try to go 9. Maybe he's not going to go 9, but he was at 117 pitches, 13 strikeouts. He's in line for the win. So you got your bullpen going. And, we got other things going on in the ballpark too, because it was wrestling night. So we literally have a wrestling ring 5 feet from their bullpen. So I get it. There's a lot going on beside you. So you get kind of distracted off the task at hand and everything else. You got guys standing around down the line. There's had to be a dozen of them down there. And nobody was doing anything baseball related. They're all just kind of glancing over and everything else. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I get it. There's a big attraction going on to your left here. But the bigger attraction is going on to your right here, guys. And that's where your focus needs to be. And it wasn't there. It was not there.
Have they ever seen basketball?
Great movie.
Oh, I'm probably sure that some of them have.
Maybe that's the solution. Try to take a look at that, because again, people that haven't seen that movie, it's a sport, but you're allowed to distract the opposition, and it's your
Yeah,
job to key in and get the job done, despite the
yeah,
wacky or whatever distractions that are being thrown at you.
yeah. And it was just, I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely, it was, I don't know. I think I was, well, you can hear it on the broadcast too. So you just kind of hear it when Ortega hits the home run. You can just kind of hear it in my voice. It's just like, yeah, something's just not working here. And it's just like, yeah, okay, we've lost this one, but we lost this one again. Going back, I think we lost this one even before the Ortega home run. I think we lost this one mentally. We checked out at some point, just because again, it was just not. It wasn't organized. It wasn't organized. You get runners in scoring position, and you don't bring them home too often. And it's just it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch, and it's hard to be positive on the broadcast and everything else when if I wasn't on a broadcast, I'm probably yelling at somebody about something. So it's just like, yeah, yeah, it was hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, 4-game losing streak is snapped against the London Majors, a 10-12 record on the season. And again, they're another team that's got a pretty busy stretch coming up. They got looks like a 3-3 coming up against
That's a four, and
Chatham-Kent
actually, I
and
think
Brantford. It's a 4-4, I think. Yeah, that's right.
it's a 4-4 this weekend, and it's this
Yes,
is
it is. Yeah, because they play Kitchener on Thursday.
yeah. So this is an opportunity as a team to make changes wholesale, like reevaluate everything. And yeah, you won big yesterday, so you got some demons out here, but that doesn't fix the underlying problems, right? There's some problems, some issues, there's some things. There's no accountability right now. I think that's the other thing. There's just no accountability. There's a lot of veterans on this ball club that have been through a lot of different situations, but nobody's taking the bull by the horns here and going, you know what? I'm going to be the leader today. I'm going to lead these guys through this thing. And, maybe that's a challenge for these guys in the next 4 games to, okay, let's see what kind of team we really are. Let's go at it.
No other bigger way to do that than to play 4 games in 4 days and see where you come out on the other side. And I know this team, they went through a lot of wholesale changes a couple of seasons ago, where it seemed like they turned over half to 3/4 of their roster at the
Yeah.
transaction deadline. I don't know if they can do that again.
I don't think this team should do that. I think this team is tinkered enough right now that you got to put some ownership on these guys. The guys that are here are going to be either the guys who are going to make a break at this right now. You've got 2 weeks before the All-Star game. You've got a week before this. So you got 3 weeks before the signing deadline. You're going to know probably at the end of this 4-game series where you are and what you're going for. You pretty much you're either going to be buyers or sellers based on what happens in the next 4 games.
So big 4 games upcoming for the Hamilton Cardinals. They are number 8 in the power rankings this week. The scrappy Brantford Red Sox come in at number 7 this week, 6-18 on the year. Mixed bag of results in this past week, 2-2 to be exact. Winning big against Chatham-Kent. They win a squeaker against the Hamilton Cardinals, but they also lose twice to the Welland Jackfish. What do you guys make of the Brantford Red Sox this week?
They're there. They're there. It's just when you got to play Welland twice in a week, it's never easy and it's never going to go well. It's just not. Well, Hamilton went through it the week before. They just, okay, you might sneak one out. You might keep a close game for that first game, but the Welland's going to figure you out. You've gone through your best pitcher against Welland at some point. So now, you're into you're into your bullpen and whatever's left in the cupboards, and Welland's just sitting there hungry at the table going, I want more. We want more runs. We want more hits. We want something. So they're just the hungry kids. They're gonna be pounding on the table for more runs or something. So it's gonna happen. And the Brantford Red Sox, and that's not a slight against these guys. These guys are coming a long way in this very short time. Like, I don't know how many people could put a team together in 60 days and be competitive at any league. Never mind this league. Like, honestly, like, this team is very competitive. They don't know the word quit. They don't.
Yeah, and as a player, that's all you kind of want is just knowing the guys in the room are there till the bitter end. Like I've been on both sides of that, right? I've seen, teams that kind of you get hit really early in the game and you just say, okay, here's a white flag, we're done. Then I've also been on the other side of it where it literally matters to the last pitch. So to see Brantford go from basically an irrelevant team to a scrappy team, Mark, like you said, like it's a cool thing. And the fact they had 60 days to kind of mastermind this whole roster and get the right pieces to kind of gel together, which it's kind of cool. Yeah, and again, playing Welland twice in a weekend, like you can't really do much about that. That's just unfortunate. But when you go 500 on a weekend, I'll take that over 0-4.
Yeah, well, exactly. 500 on the weekend, but it's like you're running now. I think they're with 24 games in their season now, so now we're looking at 18 left.
Right.
What can we do in 18 games to A, make the playoffs, and B, put us in position not to have to play well in first round?
That's true.
Those are the two tough tasks. Those are the two tough tasks. What can you do in the next 18 games, guys?
A lot to be decided on in the Telephone City in Brantford. They play Barrie twice this week, and we'll get more on them in just a few moments. Also, they play Hamilton on the 13th at home, so Barrie's going to be scrappy, and Brantford's got their work cut out for them this week. And not only that, but they also play the Baycats again. They played them, it looks like, at least 3 times before the All-Star break. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Brantford Red Sox. Number 6 in the power rankings this week, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We already got to them, so we're going to skip them. Thank you very much. And we move up to number 5, Guelph Royals. They're hanging around mid-table. They had a big victory against Hamilton on Saturday. And again, another team that had a very, very busy week, standing at 11-13 on the year. They have lost 2 straight ball games. Seems like they're getting a bit healthier. We're seeing Garrett Takamatsu into the lineup a little bit more. Liam Wilson has been on the bench the last few games. I'm sure we'll see him very, very soon. What do you guys make of the Guelph Royals?
Well, that's a typo on my part on the streaks thing, but yes, they actually did win yesterday against Barrie. They won 7-3,
That's right,
but that's
yes.
my fault, so we'll fix that. We'll fix
Thanks,
that before
Neil.
it goes out. But yes, no worries. That's me not looking at something. That's me going, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. But yes, it's just last night they were very understaffed, and I get it. It's Sunday night and everything else, and guys have to work and everything else. But at the same time, do you guys not have a junior team you guys are supposed to be able to call up guys from? And why is there not that many more guys on the bench? Like, honestly. I don't know. If you had the guys from Guelph, maybe you would have had a whole team. But I'm just going to leave that there, and I'm just going to walk away from there. And that's all I'm going to say about the Guelph Royals this week.
It's nice that they're kind of hitting the ball again to a point. I don't know. They're hanging around games, and they're here. So Neil, I always said the same thing, but I know how you feel about it, so I'm not gonna go there.
You look at their busy week again. Through the month of July, they've already played 5 times. That 7-4 loss to the Kitchener Panthers. The 12-2 loss to Barrie. Just 48 hours after that, Victor Piano putting on a show against them on a Friday night in London in that 2-1 loss. But then it's a team that rebounds. That 7-3 victory over Barrie on Sunday. Before that 10-1 victory over Hamilton on Saturday night that I had the pleasure to call. Yeah, the Guelph Royals. It seems like they're just a team that's, guess you can maybe say, for the lack of a better term here, inconsistent. It seems like when they win, they'll win 3 or 4 or 5 in a row. When they lose, it seems like, okay, it's going to snowball. 2nd loss in a row, 3rd loss in a row, 4th loss in a row. It seems like the only consistency with this team is the inconsistency in having a very good run of wins, if you will.
The only thing I would bring up is Edgar Garcia has now gone from being the closer role to the starting role, and I don't know if that's by design here. Are they trying to shop him out to somebody else? Has he got an opportunity somewhere else that he's trying to get latched onto. So they're kind of gearing up for what's happening with Claudio and Franklin Torres here. So they're, this is an audition for him for somebody else. But yeah, it's just, or is he sticking around? Like, I don't know. I don't understand why the sudden shift. Like, they weren't in a lot of ball games where he was needed. So maybe that's just he wants to get more work, but it just doesn't make sense in my world right now.
Yes, two different mentalities going into it. So it just, for me, it doesn't make any sense. But maybe there's an opportunity for him to seek. But yeah, to go from a closer's role to a starter's role, like it's different mentality, B, different physical needs that you want on the mound. So like instead of having a short spurt of say 20 pitches, now you're expected to go 100. It's a lot of wear and tear in the body with a quick turnaround on that one.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head, guys, especially with Franklin Torres and Claudio Custodio coming back. Claudio's already on the roster. Franklin Torres is still on the inactive list, technically. So yeah, they're gonna, if anything, they got to make some room for just one player. They don't have to make room for two import slots. It's just the one for Franklin. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up being the odd man out there in Guelph in the next couple of weeks. So the Guelph Royals 11-13 on the season, 5th in the power rankings this week. So number 4, the London Majors. We had the conversation already about Kitchener. Let's delve into the bullpen conversation about the London Majors. What do you guys make of them right now?
Firsthand yesterday, I think Saturday as well. It's just kind of your head. It's just like there's not enough confidence in other guys in this bullpen right now to come in with in whatever situation and take the baseball. So he's got to go with the guys he trusts. But at the same time, it's just like these guys are you're burning out. You can see it burning out. Like even in the heat yesterday, it's just like, okay, like they're going out there and doing what they can. But if it was serving up meatballs yesterday, because it was definitely meatballs, we were eating meatball subs all day.
I love a good meatball sub.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to watch guys that you know and played with kind of go through these stretches. I feel bad for them, but they know deep down too that sometimes you just gotta take it upon yourself and do what's best for you. And if you don't like a pitch, legitimately just step off. Yeah. Because like at the end of the day, it's you out there. It's not anybody else. People are gonna look at you. They're gonna look at your numbers. They're gonna attach that number to who you are as a ball player, even if you're not that ball player. Yeah, it's tough to watch. That's for sure. And
no, it's just yesterday, and I want to say it was because Hamilton woke up. They benched everybody Saturday night, and the guys that are around was like, okay, we're not going to take this crap anymore, and decided to step up for once. But again, London was kind of reeling on the heels. Jose went out there, and he didn't look right from the beginning. He didn't look like he was in his zone at all. He looked like he was hurt, to be honest with you, and he was just trying to get through the game. And it was like he was just, he was asked to go out there and give me 6, give me 7 as much as you can here. And it's just like when you don't got it one night, you just don't got it one night. And that's one of the nights where you gotta hope you got somebody else behind him. But they just didn't yesterday. Again, because it's 3-3, and there's not a lot of depth in that bullpen right
now. On a plus side to all of this, we can give a shout out to Nate Bennett, young kid.
Yep.
Coming in. I've known this kid for a while, and it's pretty cool to see this whole transformation from him playing minor ball with Great Lake Canadians to going off to play at Niagara University to now this. Kid's young, and he's getting thrown into the fire. And you know what? I don't think really people talk about it much, but kudos to him, because like at his age, he's doing things that probably majority of other people that were going to come into the intercounty would never even do. So kudos to him. Yeah, like you said, Neil, the bullpen is a definite question mark for depth-wise, at least. Outside of Skyler and Patel.
Yeah.
Not much
There's some
else.
question marks there.
Yeah.
It's not a slight against those guys that are down there either. They're doing
Yeah.
their best. But
Yeah.
again, it's just like yesterday, you know, I don't think I'd want to go pitch in that heat either. Like I don't. I
Oh,
don't think I'd want to go out there, have to go out there in that.
No, and I feel bad because you know I've been teammates with Jared Lund for a long time. It's not like like the numbers that they're showing, like that doesn't reflect who he is as a pitcher. Like it's just needs to be in a better spot coming out of the pen. Like it's I don't know. He's not that mop up guy. He's not that guy. He's more your situational guy on second, lefty batter.
Yep.
He's gonna get you out with either the sinker or a slider away, and boom, inning over, done. Now you move on to somebody else.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Cool.
And I think that's probably the same situation where Colby Ring slides into on the other side. It's just like, and you know, he was good in that one inning yesterday. It was just, but when they put up the second one, I'm going, okay, now you're pitching against a team that knows you all too well. They're all sitting on the bench going, okay, he's still the same guy. He's going to throw you this, and this, in this sequence, and bang, bang, bang. Thanks for the salami sandwiches.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a difficult task to know the bullpen arms to go into what situation, but I don't know. I don't know what it's got to give because outside of year two, who else do you have? Like, it's a flip of the coin really when you look down there. Unfortunately, like I love the guys to death, but like, I don't know if it's their fault or not, but.
I mentioned salami and somebody's barking her head off. Where's my salami?
Well, they got a busy stretch coming up. They have 5 more games before the All-Star game, and Kitchener, Guelph, Toronto, Hamilton twice before the All-Star game on Sunday, July 20th. By the way, get your tickets now. We'll see how London can try to right the ship with them in 4th in the power rankings this week. Well, we already talked about number 3, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers falling from number 1, so there is a new number 1 this week. It is not the BRANTFORD Baycats, despite the fact that they had ridden a 6-game winning streak to put them over 500. They did lose yesterday as well, but you know, with the BRANTFORD Baycats being in number 2 this week, seems like they're finding their stride.
They're definitely finding their stride, and they're doing it with, you know, not their A lineup, that's for sure. Like they've got guys out of the lineup that are usually counted upon pretty heavily to guide this ship here. And of course, they got Francisco Hernandez out still. He's expected back probably another week or so, but yeah, he's out still. But you lose Malik Williams, you lose Ryan Rio from your lineup. And it's just like, okay, most teams that would probably be, okay, we're going to wave the white flag. We're not winning the championship this year, but not the BRANTFORD Baycats. They just went, hell no, we're going to find a way to win. We're going to find a way to win baseball games. We're going to stick around, you know, and it's a credit to them and just how that team's made up as far as this stuff goes.
Yeah, their depth is pretty crazy, honestly. Like I was there on Canada Day when they came to London, and you could clearly tell it wasn't their A lineup, but it was still like you could just look at it like, oh, okay, like these guys are still good. Like
they're still good, and
it was impressive.
You got to model. You got to show off the lovely
T-shirt. I was gonna get to that. You got to show this,
which got us all. We've got us all in trouble for this thing, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I got in trouble. Well, I didn't get in trouble, but you guys did.
Yeah, we all did.
Give us the story. How did you acquire that?
Okay, so I went down to Chatham when they did that 3-game stretch. I was there for the Sunday. And I'm literally standing beside the dugout, and Matt Lowe goes, "Hey, like, I got something for you." And I'm like, "Gosh, like, what do we got?" He's like, "No.
Yeah.
You give me what size you are, and then we'll make it happen." I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever. Like, I'm for the show. I'm here for the people. You know, like, this is what it is." And then Canada Day, I'm out there walking in with my fiance, and you know. I told Matt Lowe, "Hey, I'll come see you before the game." He's like, "Perfect." So I go, and all of a sudden he goes into the room, comes out with this little like blue, like teal blue bag, and I'm like,
outstanding.
I'm standing there,
almost like
like,
it wasn't a Tiffany bag, but might as well have been.
yeah. So I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh no, this could go either one of two ways here. This could be really good or like really bad. So he hands me the bag, I open it up, and it's like, again, for the ones that didn't see it the first time, I'm a closet Baycats fan.
Soon to be clipped everywhere.
Yeah. If you want, here you go, screenshot it now. But you know what? It's all fun and games. You know what? I have a great relationship with Matt Lowe, and I said, hey, you know what? I'll wear this on the next podcast. So, because I know he was
man of your word.
Because people were giving me the gears about potentially wearing the Welland shirt. So here we are, finally donning another logo outside of the IBL hat. You know, players should go buy this.
Now in the merch store.
It's actually nice.
Higher vibes from that hat. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Chris Walters, come get it. Chris
Walters making the highlight of the night yesterday too.
Yeah, I'm glad. Glad people are recognizing I'm here for the fans. I'm here for baseball. I'm here to spread this league far and wide. I'm not focused solely on one team. I'm just a fun guy. Like, baseball's fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Barrie Baycats at 13-10 on the season. They are number 2 in the power rankings this week, up from number 4 a week ago. Well, the number 1 team, you just said their name, Welland, at the top of the heap. First of all, before anything, I got to give a shout out to Jake Sanford. He had a big hit for the Ottawa Titans the other night to help the Titans to a victory. But the Welland Jackfish, even without Sanford in the lineup, still as mighty as ever in the Rose City. 3 straight wins for them, 17-6 on the season. Offense, defense, guys are just getting it done, plain and simple.
They are. They just definitely are. As far as how that team is built again, anyways, it's great to see. They got Ethan Hunt back on Saturday's game too, so that's going to help them with third base. That was the big question mark in my mind. It's like, okay, who's playing third base now that Sanford's gone? And anyway, then I wasn't 100% sold on Jake, and that's not against you, Jake, or anything. I'm just like, it's not a position you were comfortable playing since like college. So it's been a few years, but you proved me wrong. You went out there and you did your best, and you still hit the ball over. And congratulations on ruining a 4th of July somewhere in New York State on Friday night.
Well, again, you look at that. You look at what they did just this past week. Losing to Toronto, but that this is a team where if they lose, they're not going to lose twice in a row too often, and they end up racking up 3 straight wins, 9 runs in each of their games against Brantford and Chatham-Kent, and then they hang a 16 spot on the Brantford Red Sox on Sunday.
Yeah, they just that offense just starts finding ways to roll. They wear down teams and everything else, and then of course the Brantford's credit in Sunday's game, it was 12-1 at one point, but they made a game of it. Came back, they battled through. That was just again the Red Sox doing what they do best, but the Jackfish, just too strong for too many weapons in that arsenal there to keep them off the scoreboard too long.
Yeah, just this team is just too strong depth-wise, I would say, at this point of the year. They have a lot of horses in the stable ready to go whenever. So it's kind of nice to see, especially as a former player, I guess. It's just this team wants to win, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to win. And it's actually impressive to see the numbers from every game, how many runs they score, and I'm like, this can't continue. But then it just keeps going, and I'm like,
it just keeps going. Like they're at that plus 110 right now.
Yeah,
there's only 2 teams with a positive run differential in this league right now, which that's flabbergasting.
Mind-boggling.
It's just flabbergasting.
Yeah, and it's definitely not his fault.
No, it's just I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It's just these guys keep going, and then it's just other teams. They they all have these crazy nights where they give up a lot of numbers, but it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something weird this year. Everything's been weird. Even the home records of all the teams in the league. Even it just doesn't make sense right now.
Is this one of the more topsy-turvy seasons that you guys have ever seen when it comes to that kind of stuff?
Well, it definitely feels like it, but again, I'd have to go back and look at things because there's got to be other years we can compare this to but off the top of my head, yeah, this is definitely one of those odd ones that it's just like, okay, everything that could, you put them all in the hourglass and shake it up, and everything's not falling where it's supposed to be falling.
Yeah, like usually what you would know this a lot more than Mark and I would, but for the most part, it's been like your say top 5 teams, and then your bottom. Like it's a clear differential. This year,
like this is right now. It just is like if somebody goes on a ridiculous 5-6 game winning streak, they can go from 7th to 2nd here because it's just how this league's been working this year. Like I was half joking with Brian Esri before the season. I say, yeah, nobody's going to win 28 games this year. I didn't mean to be right on the nose here, guys. Like, come on. I'm not Kreskin. This wasn't a crystal ball thing. It was just a weird feeling about how things were looking to pan out with these rosters and everything else. Yeah. But if this was the year, this will be probably go down in the record books as the year parity broke through in the intercounty.
Yeah. And honestly, I would say it's a good thing, to be honest. Yeah. Like, you're not going into a game where it's, outside of like Welland and whomever, but like anybody else, anyone can beat anybody, that's what you want, especially as a baseball fan. Like nobody wants to go to a ballpark knowing, okay, this team's gonna get absolutely murdered. Like nobody wants to spend money on that. Like personally, I'd rather go watch a 2-1 game, for example, like the Pano versus Garza's game. Yeah, I will sit there for 6 hours if I have to, just to watch that. Like that was the coolest thing. So I think that this might be a good thing for the league, but it's crazy when a lot of teams are in the negative for the differential of runs for and runs against. I've never seen that.
I don't think anybody has really. Like, I'm gonna dig through the books and just look at things, but I don't think we'd have the run differentials in the book. But I'm sure I can go for like the last 10 years, last 10, 15 years, anyways, because we have the stats. We could probably figure it out from there. But yeah, it's just maybe that's the task for Dan Dominguez this week. Hey, Dan, I know you're listening, so there you go, Dan. You got some homework.
Yeah, I got a little bit more homework, but there's one specifically for Dan. He'll get extra credit for that.
Yeah.
Well, that is Welland, number 1 in the power rankings this week. When we return, we have a homework assignment for you as well. It has to do with what we could be seeing in the next couple of weeks, and the polls are closed. Do you have your favorite player into the All-Star Showdown in Hamilton? We'll be back after this.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com, because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Welcome back to the IBL Inside Pitch. I'm the man with the thinking cap, Mark Perry. He's the legend, Neil Srivastava, and also Carrot Top, Braeden Farrington here with us. There you saw it, the All-Star Showdown in Hamilton, coming up on Sunday, July 20th. Get your tickets now at the Hamilton Cardinals website. And seems like we've already got the players in. Voting has closed for the fan voting for the Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown in Hamilton. And, well, there's a little bit more math that has to be done before we figure out who is actually going to be in and who is going to be out. The official rosters will be coming out later this week. Neil, what do we know about what's the work that you got to be doing in the next couple of days to tinker with the numbers, if you will?
Yeah, tinkering
because
with the
everybody
numbers is
knows you
definitely.
always tinker with the numbers because you want to get your favorite guy in there. It's the way it
Yeah, because
goes.
put that on me
There's
today.
so much
Yeah, go ahead.
favoritism, right?
Yeah. Says the guy that didn't vote anywhere at all. So
There you go.
just so you
There
know,
you go.
there you go. I have no horses in the race because I didn't want to offend anybody or show favorites to anybody. So I stuck out of it. I'm just the guy that set the ballot up. That's it. And now I have to count them. That's it.
Well, and you're a sheriff
That's
as
it,
well.
Buzz. Oh goodness. There we go. Yes, busting people for voting from whatever places, and because they got nothing better to do with their time. They got nothing better to do with their time than just trying to figure out how to rig a fan vote system. But okay, whatever.
Yeah, to each
Sometimes
their own.
you got to be smarter. You got to be smarter than the average Joe from Vegas. But that's okay. We'll just leave
Some
it
of
at
us
that.
work. Some of us work for a living. Others figure they want to rig a vote. But anyway,
Yeah, we're moving on from there. But yes, so the vote will be coming out. You'll see the official announcement Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, and then of course the last chance vote, guys. The last chance to get your last guy in there, and it's gonna go live at noon on Friday. You have till Monday at midnight to vote for your last chance guy, and then hey, following weekend we got the All-Star game. So yeah, it's gonna be very intense, very exciting times around here. So we're looking forward to it, and all that stuff goes in. The fan vote is tabulated, and the media votes are all in right now too. So it's just going to be okay. So it's 50% the fan vote, 50% influence on the media vote, how this works, and everything else. And then it's just like, okay, may the best guys be there at the All-Star game. And we're looking forward to a great show put on by Hamilton. The Home Run Derby is going to start at 4:30. CHCH and Cable 14 simulcasting that game, so the Derby, anyways. But you have to watch Cable 14 for the All-Star game, as far as that stuff goes, because it's not on CHCH. But yes, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it, and it's going to be interesting to call. Jump on the call and have some fun with it. Reed Duffy assures me he's going to be there in time for it, but he's also got a wrestling thing to work on too, so he's going to have a tight schedule.
And if not,
you're jumping in. You're willing to jump in? All right.
I can make it down to Hamilton mid-game. Won't make it there for the home run derby. I have prior commitments that day, but no, I'll do the drive down. I'll come and fill in a couple of innings for you.
Nice. Well, I'm sure the more the merrier down there. We'd love to get just an all-star crew down there too. Just have some fun with it too. So have some different takes, different looks, and everything else. And hey, the bird's nest is always open, guys. So you're more than welcome to come down.
Are you calling us all-stars?
I think I was.
Yeah,
well, not just you guys as well. Thomas West, anybody. Hey, if you're coming down to the game, guys. Hey, I've got an open seat. There's always an open seat in the middle. So come on in, have some fun. Come say hi.
There's 9 innings. There's 9 teams. We should do a 3-man crew. One person representing. Well, one. Sorry, Braeden. I'm sure not everybody's going to make it, but Braeden can fill in as a broadcaster. Yeah. You know what? I broadcast for 2 teams in the Intercounty Baseball League. I'll take the Kitchener spot. I'll give you the spot that would be reserved, I guess, quote unquote, for the Guelph inning, if you will.
Dang, awesome! I don't have any of the merch though, so that's awkward.
We're not here for merch. We're just there to fill the boat, if you will.
Here we go.
There you go. How
was the home run derby determined in terms of the participants?
This is what I don't know yet, and I think that's going to come out tomorrow. Actually, when the podcast is live, we're going to have that meeting tomorrow morning, and we're going to go through everything else as far as that stuff goes. We're still kind of figuring out some ideas and everything else. I did pitch Mr. Calnis on a couple of ideas we came up to as well too, but I don't want to force my hand. Don't want to tip my cap on those things yet because it would spoil the surprise.
I love surprises. Yes, we do. I guess we can move on from that. Again, get your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com and take in the All-Star Showdown at Bernie Arbor Stadium Sunday, July 20th. What do you guys want to do first? Do you want to give out some homework or do you want to dip into a mailbox?
Well, let's hit the mailbox up. We don't usually get too much mail around here, so
All right. Well, I'm going to give this one.
Alexa can't help us. Alexa can't help. She's not quite sure how to help us with that. All right.
Well, this one is going to come in from Anonymous this week. So here is the question for you guys. What is one thing you would change about the league, if anything at all? For me, it would be less playoff teams. I understand the scheduling logistics are easier with 8 teams, but with less teams getting in there might be a little more intensity and a little less coasting during the season, if you will. Say a team, just wanting to get in and they'll coast the last game of the season, if you will, and because they know they already have a playoff spot anyway. 8 of 9 teams make it in. So this viewer wants to know what would be one change that we would like to make if we had that
Just
kind of
one, eh?
power.
Just one. Dang. That's a tough one to go just pick one. I could go for a
There's
while
so
on some
many.
things, but there's so many things, that bug me about the league that, I've been around for forever that, there's just things that just need to be fixed and everything else. But I think we need to get something better than Point Street as far as the scoring system. That's just from
Yeah.
the fan perspective, the stats perspective, even just the players' perspective, everything else. It did its job when it was new and everything else, but now it's time that we gotta, we have to crack open that ancient wallet the league has here, and fork out a little more dough to get something more really, really, I don't know, with the times, and as far as it was the spans to the websites and everything else, because there was definitely some issues trying to get updated stats, or even just the All-Star vote and everything else, and we've had some problems in the last couple of years with the interface and everything else, even just updating the league leaders even right now, because right now it's not polling properly, and that's just there's something not jiving right now. So it's just there's some issues there. I think that's not a shot against Point Street, because hey, you guys have been great to work with. That's just, but what I think we need to, as a league, look at something more current, more modern, that we can be a little more accessible to, and make it a little bit easier for the broadcast teams and everything else to export directly into stat packages, into even in just lower thirds as far as batting averages and stuff. Some poor guy doesn't have to sit in the back of the back room somewhere and plug in numbers as the game goes on. But I think that would be, if I could, in the next year or so, I think that would definitely be something we have to look at. There's lots more, but that's for another day, another story, and we got a lot more time.
Yeah,
I
like for
can tell
me,
you that the OHL, they have their stat packs. They're powered by Hockey Tech, so it's a very hockey specific program. And
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect for what they have been able to put together in their stat packs. And I feel like when I'm calling, whether it's a Guelph Storm game or a Sudbury Wolves game, um, yeah, I have that package and I'm ready to go, partner. The teams are excellent in printing them out, whether it's at the Sleeman Center or any other um, barn that I do broadcast in when I'm traveling around to cover the Wolves. And I think something like that definitely would be beneficial for the Intercounty Baseball League for sure.
yeah, like for me, Neil, you kind of mentioned it there, the whole broadcasting. I feel as if it should be, because every team does their own thing, and I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It's amazing. All of the media guys, Neil, Mark, you guys do a great job. Matt in London does a fantastic job. Cable 14, perfect. I think there should be a league-wide thing, like it was back in the day with a certain brand.
Mhm.
I feel like the OHL, they have Rogers TV, they have Cogeco. I feel like the
Yeah.
IBL needs to do something like that, but obviously not have their volunteers that work there or volunteer there call the games. Have the teams bring in their own people on behalf of whatever brand is going to be covering the game. So there's no offense to certain teams in the past, their broadcast hasn't been the greatest. So then it's like a league mandate of, okay, this is where our minimum broadcasting is going to be. Anything above that is great, but anything below that, no, that's just not going to cut it for the league. We have certain standards. That's just where I take it from my point of view. But I don't know. It's been not grinding of my gears as a player, but I remember my first couple of years we had Rogers TV come in, and every guy in the room was amped up for that.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we are prime time. Here we go. And then the other games, it was like, oh, okay, we can kind of do what we want. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Again, for the fans, have it more accessible. Like it's just, if it's out there, it's going to attract more people to watch and view. So I think that's plus for the league, I would assume. But you never know. It's obviously it's a work in progress, and it's something that I think that needs to be out there because MLB does kind of a great job with having it available.
Yeah,
but on the
except for Apple
downside,
TV. But let's not go there.
yes, but then they also have the blackout, which nobody wants to. Nobody likes that. So if this is going to be kind of accessible, it's going to bring those fans and viewers into watching the Intercounty Baseball League. Because like what I think it was back in 05 when NHL was kind of doing their thing, or lack thereof, not their thing. All eyes were on London Knights. Like literally everybody in the hockey world was watching the Knights play. So, and then all of a sudden the rocket ship of the Hunters kind of took off. So I feel like it could be the exact same with this league.
So what I'm hearing, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, like I do feel there are some aspects of that are already in place,
Oh, yeah.
but there are some aspects that aren't there. I think one of the things that I can key in on there is that you want one place to have everything, if you will, instead of going from YouTube page to YouTube page to YouTube page of and you're just looking and searching, and say you're a fan of I'll use Kitchener as a prime example. If Kitchener is in Toronto, they want to be able to have it in a consistent spot. It's like turning on the TV and flipping it onto the same channel because they know home or away, it's going to be on that same channel. They don't want to flip on to, say, the Kitchener Panthers YouTube page expecting, hey, we're going to get this game in Welland, but it's not on that page. So they have to, we have to go now looking for Welland because they're the home team. Sometimes maybe they don't realize who's the home team for a particular game because maybe they just didn't look initially. I think that. Am I kind of in the right ballpark there, if you will? Pardon the pun.
You are, and we've been trying as the league, as far as part of my job is as well. So again, this is the onus is on the broadcast teams as well, or the producers, to make sure that we have the links in time for these games to go on the live page. Which 9 out of 10 times there's at least 2 or 3 games on any given night I don't have the links to. So it's like, well, now what do I do? So it's just like, okay. And last week we did try a couple of things. I was trying Diamond Vision on Canada Day. We had all the broadcasts on the same page, and I'm gonna try it again this week. Later on this week, we're gonna try to bring the links in. If you type in the channel name and say, okay, if you want to watch the Welland game, !Welland, it'll bring up the YouTube link in the chat for you, so you can just click on the link and go to that game. Or you can sit there and you can watch all 3 or 4 games that are going on at the same time. And there's no interaction or anything right now, but at least it's something. It's something different. It's it's not NFL Red Zone. It's not trying to be Red Zone or anything, but it's an opportunity for maybe I can do things in my office here or the home office, and try to jazz things up. Maybe you have a little bit of fan interaction when we have some lulls in whatever periods we got pitching changes or something. I can jump in and update it or something like that. But again, we just don't have a lot of technology here. We're kind of hampered by that stuff. We're still trying to figure things out as far as that goes. But I shot it up last week. I don't know how it went over, but it did have a good following after the fact it aired. So it was like, oh, people found it afterwards. So hey, if you liked it, guys, hey, let us know in the chat or something, or shoot me an email. Like, my email is pretty easy on the IBL site. So it's just, I'm pretty sure it's on the media page now. So go ahead and shoot me an email, or message me on Instagram or through the Leagueway Instagram. Say, hey, we like this. Maybe try this or something. Just because I'm trying to build this stuff. The league's trying to build things too, and it's hard because again, they're not one cohesive unit right now. Like, there's teams I don't talk to just because I don't have reach outs to these guys. It's just like I get stuff second party or something else, and it's not how we want it to work either. But it's just, I got a job to do, they've got a job to do, but it's not on the same page.
I want to put out a rule of thumb out there too. I know there are some teams out there that they actually have the links for the next month, it seems. Just whatever, it is what it is, and good on you for doing it. This is the rule of thumb that I have started to put in place in Kitchener and in Guelph. More so Guelph than in Kitchener, because I don't really have my hands on the technical side as much as I used to on the Kitchener side for the broadcast. But the rule of thumb is, once I am done a home game, you create the link before you shut everything down. You create the link for the next game before you shut it down.
Yeah, it just makes my life easier because I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to look at the same time during the day to get it. It's usually, okay, I've got 10 minutes. Let's go update the live page. And it's like, okay, if it's at least not there, guys. My apologies. I didn't get a chance to get back and fix it before, because it's a Friday night. And, well, I'm going live in Hamilton at 10 after 7 here. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm not on the ability to do that. And that's on me too. So, I'll take responsibility for that. But again, it's just like, if I don't got the links, guys, I'm not going to go hunt them down. Like, I just don't have time.
I think you started something, Braeden.
Oops.
But I can tell
we
you
can
we can talk about this forever. I mean,
No,
my
we can.
goodness. But I can tell you just from my perspective as well, and I mean, I think every team is kind of in that same boat too, where we're always looking for ways to improve, to upgrade.
Yeah.
Whether it's equipment, adding more graphics. But I think at the end of the day, and I don't think a lot of people realize this too, is that the more we add at times, that also includes adding another individual into the press
Yeah, it
box or,
does.
adding another volunteer. In Guelph, for example, the reason why they don't have a center field camera yet right now is because, we need an extra volunteer. That's so we can have somebody out in right field to actually man the camera because beyond that fence, you have that open ballpark and it's
And
easily
you
accessible
can't
to the
leave it out
public.
there. You can't
Exactly.
leave it. I was going to take it some kid on a bike or some guy on a bike going, "Oh, free camera. Thank you very much. Score. Bye."
Yeah.
It's
And
gone
in this economy, you put that in the pawn shop, that's $1,000 in your pocket, or
Yeah,
maybe
easily.
200, depending on the quality of the camera. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, things like this, they cost money, they take time, and they need the people. Plain and
Yeah.
simple. And I know I've said that a lot today, but the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of different things that need to be added in order to add the things to these broadcasts. And
Yeah.
I can tell you just firsthand that these teams are trying. They're trying their
Well,
best
no
with
question
what
they
they
are.
have.
Yeah, and I kick myself every day when I don't get a chance to go through and clip every game because I love sharing these stories. I love sharing these highlights and everything else. And I feel bad when I don't get a chance to because, hey, there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so many hours Neil can sit in a chair and watch baseball. I wish I got paid to do it, but I don't. So, hey, I wish I did. But again, it's like, and I wish teams had times or at least had the ability, hey, or broadcasters write a timestamp. Hey, second inning, something, watch what Joe did in this inning, like or something. Joe hit a home run or something, or Devon made a great catch or somebody out there, just not to pick on somebody specifically. But again, it's just like I'm one person at the end of the night. And it's just like I hate the fact I can't get to everything. I hate it. I just do because I'm very passionate about this job and I really want to do a good job. I want this league to grow. I want
Mhm.
this thing to be, the talk of the towns in every one of these centers because, these guys deserve this. These
Yep.
guys deserve this opportunity. And it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox now. This is Braden's fault. So this is this is his fault. But it's just, and it's just I feel bad. I feel bad because it's just like yesterday, it was just like I stayed up 2 extra hours last night to just get a couple more highlights out there because it's like, you know what? I don't want to turn it into it's the Hamilton show, it's the Welland show because I was at that game, so I know exactly what happened in those games. But it's then like, okay, then I got to go back and try to show the whole picture for the whole league. And again, it's just it takes an army right now. We don't have an army right now. It's me. That's it. And it's like, and I'm relying on the kindness of strangers and other teams that are nice enough to offer the league the collaboration on a highlight or something like that. But some teams don't do that, and then it's just like, well, you're not helping me here, guys. So you can put it on your little thing, but it's better off if you tag us in it and it goes out to a bigger audience. Like, just we got to grow it
Mhm.
together, guys. It's not one person. It's not one team. We
Yeah.
need to put aside the it's my team or the highway here. It's all 9 teams have to be going in the same direction, or it's not going to work.
Yeah. We're all
Sorry,
nine
that's just
we're all 9 individual teams, but at the end of the day, you know, not to be sappy, but we're a family
yeah.
behind the
No, we are.
scenes. We are an absolute family, and if we can come together as one and be a cohesive unit, do our things for our individual teams, but also
Yeah,
work as a collective, it's only gonna what's the old saying? A high tide rises all ships.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. No, and it's like there's some teams out there that will give me the heads up. Hey, wasn't our guy, but hey, go watch this thing and everything else. And I appreciate those to death.
Well,
And
and
I
I mean,
appreciate guys like players even reaching out after the fact. Hey, I hit two home runs in this thing. It was my first home run. Do you mind going back and clipping it? I know it was a couple days later, Spencer, but hey, I appreciate it. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get it to you out there earlier.
and I'm sorry I mispronounced your name, which is another soapbox I can get on. Again, trying my best. I don't, profess to be perfect in any way, shape, or form. Guys, rip me apart. It is what it is.
Yeah, I know.
We're human. We're human. We make mistakes. I'm a French Canadian, so I might pronounce Morin as Morin, or people call me Perry or Pate. Call me whatever the heck you want. Just don't call me late to dinner.
Awesome.
But that's the soapbox that we're on, and again, always just trying to improve. And you know what? That's going to take us to the homework assignment coming up this week. Well, we've already got one in. You know what? Let's do 2 homework assignments because we just gave off what we would like to see changed in the Intercounty Baseball League. What would you guys like to see in terms of a change, whether it's behind the scenes or on the field? Let us know. IBLinsidepitch@gmail.com.
Let's add a little
the
bit
inbox
to this.
is always open.
Let's add a little bit to this. What do you like about what we do right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What works well? Because let's not make it negative tonight, guys. Let's be constructive too and say, hey, guys are doing this really well. Because we sometimes we need to hear those things too, because there's a lot of nights we don't hear that. Let's be honest about that.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, what are we doing well? And it's kind of like going into a year-end review with your job. What are you doing well, and where would you like to see some improvements? So, IBLinsidepitch@gmail.com for that. And the other homework assignment: what would you like to see changed with your teams in the next couple of weeks? Yes, the transaction deadline is coming up in the next couple of weeks. What is the biggest need for each of the 9 Intercounty Baseball League teams? Or even just for your favorite team? What is the biggest need and why? And that'll end up springing up our conversation in whether it's next week or the following week on Transaction Deadline, the special for here with the Intercounty Baseball League and
we're not getting a Sportsnet 12-hour show. We're not doing it. Not doing it.
No, we talked about it. I think we talked about it very early on in the season that we're thinking about this, but I don't think we can do that. No, we're not going to go on live until midnights and wait for the last things to come in.
That'd be crazy.
Imagine.
Oh man. Don't give anybody ideas, okay? Let's just not do that.
I'm not asking if that's a good idea. That's not a homework assignment in any way.
No. It's not a poll question either. It's just not happening.
No, exactly.
That's an emphatic
we'll leave it as that. I know we record. Maybe we just record on the Tuesday and have a special Wednesday episode because of the transaction deadline. You know what? Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah, because the deadline's what, 11:59 p.m. on the Monday of that week.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a special Wednesday episode that week, and that way we'll get all the transaction madness out of the way before we can actually assess our thoughts and put it together.
Let me add something. Something. Make sure there is transactions because
exactly. So last year, it's like 2 years ago when I ran the blog, it was just nonstop nothing, and I thought, okay, it's 10:45. I'm gonna turn this thing off, and then George Halim goes and blows the universe up. So I was just like caught off guard the next morning, going, "Are you kidding me?" Like, even the owner said he was done, and he wasn't.
Yeah. Let's here because it's more entertaining that way for the fans. Do it for the fans.
I love it. Anything else on you guys' plate this week? Airing of the grievances before we go.
Oh man, did I forget anything? Yeah, I guess the filet of fish is back on the menu till Hamilton loses again. So that's beside the point on a home game. So that happened.
All right.
And again, we got to thank the Sorosky family for the lovely care package they sent to the Hamilton Cardinals, and we got to sample the very spicy chips.
Oh my
and they
goodness.
were very spicy.
I forgot about special packages.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Thank you, Alan Ross.
Oh, very nice.
So if people don't know the story, so there was a special bucket hat giveaway at a Kitchener Panthers game. I believe it was the game against Chatham-Kent. They did the
Yep.
draws. They even gave us in the booth some numbers for the draws to possibly get their hands on some of these bucket hats, but I wasn't able to get one, unfortunately. So I think I may have went a little bit too far in talking about the bucket hat, especially with somebody beside me also getting their hands on one. I didn't get one.
Uh-huh.
And then sure enough, I'm in the middle of the broadcast. And by the way, for anybody, and love you to death, Alan. If you have something to say to me or give to me, it's probably best to do it before the game
Yep.
because when I'm in mid game, I'm on lockdown. I am in
Yep.
focused. I am into the game. I'm just putting that out there for anybody for future reference. If you have any gifts for me or just want to chat, just do it before the game. I'm more than happy to entertain you and just have a
Yep.
conversation.
Oh,
But
exactly.
this made up for it. When you can give me a bucket
Yep.
hat, this made up for it. Let me just
No.
Oh, there we go.
there we go. How about that?
All we're missing is the Blink 182 reference now, and we're all done.
Hey, 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 hey.
That's so funny.
What's my age again?
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
There we go.
Exactly. Well, a tip of the bucket hat to Alan Ross and a tip of the bucket hat to all of you for tuning in to the IBL Inside Pitch this week. It was jam-packed, a whole lot to cover, and there's a whole lot more to come this month with the transaction deadline, the IBL All-Star Showdown, and our homework assignments as well. So get yours in at IBL Inside Pitch at gmail.com, and we'll see you next week, folks. I'm Mark. He's Neil. He's Braeden. This is another presentation of the IBL Inside Pitch.